It was on a beach in Mexico overlooking the Pacific Ocean when my friend Mo said he was going to Nepal. At the time, he was at the end of a 1-month tour of the Baja Peninsula on a 1987 Honda GL1200 Aspencade. He hadn't had a good shower in over a month, and I could tell that the road was wearing on him, but there was something in talking about this trip to Nepal that brought a freshness to his eyes. He said, "I'm packing light, 1 pair of pants light. Everything I'm bringing has to fit on a motorcycle that I rent there." He said, "I'm bringing a paraglider, but I'm not going to Nepal to paraglide. I'm going there to see Nepal. If I get to paraglide, it's a bonus." He paused and looked at me. His expression became slightly more serious. "If you have the means, you should do everything in your power to come on this trip," he said. "I don't know why, but I have a special feeling about Nepal."
In my world, a box of stars.
14 days later, my journey has begun. I am in Los Angeles International Airport, carefully budgeting my energy for this trip. I anticipate it's going to be a solid 48 hours of travel before I get to a hotel. 16 hours and 48 minutes in the air and I'm in Doha, the second nicest airport in the world. For me, this is my first time traveling internationally alone. It's not that big a feat, but I relish firsts because you can only experience them once. 28 hours and 29 minutes since I left home. It's time to catch my flight from Doha to Kathmandu, the only international airport in Nepal. Tired, yes, but excited at the possibility of seeing the Himalayas in the morning. I'll try to get some sleep on this flight. The smoky orange light of dawn is filtering through the windows, and I spot the silhouette of a mountain piercing the light like a razor. My first sight of the Himalayas. Touchdown in Nepal. The real adventure has just begun. My first destination here is Pokhara, which is 150 kilometers northwest of Kathmandu. You can catch a 25-minute puddle jumper flight there, or for $7.50, you can ride the Sofa bus. To ride this bus, I need to get out of the airport, get some money, and find a taxi to take me to the bus depot. There's 5,000 rupees. I handed a taxi driver my phone with directions.
Head west.
Okay, perfect. And I'm on my way to the Sofa bus. I'm in the backseat of a taxi on my way to the bus depot, nearly in tears. I'm experiencing Kathmandu for the first time. I've never driven on the left side of the road. There are mopeds everywhere, painted buses, monkeys swinging from trees. There's no amount of words that could have been said to prepare me for this level of sensory input. I've been traveling for 37 hours and feel positively alive. I was not the first white guy in Kathmandu trying to get to Pokhara. No English was exchanged, but I was rushed to this bus and got on just 5 minutes before it took off. Sure, it's going to take longer than the airplane, but now I have a front row seat to take in some of Nepal. In total, it took us a little over 10 hours to cover the 201 kilometers of winding, narrow, mostly unpaved roads to the Himalayan foothills. I grew a strong fondness for these ornately painted trucks. The road was violently bumpy, the air conditioner stopped working, and my chocolate bar melted, but I felt at least I had tasted a little bit of Nepal. One more taxi, and I'm at a hotel in Pokhara. Finally, I can rest. Two days. We're in Nepal. Jet lag has flip-flopped my internal clock. What was once 5 p.m. is now 5 a.m. or 5:15. Nepal's 15 minutes off. Either way, I'm awake before sunrise. Poker is still asleep at this hour. But I'm on my balcony wondering what's about to happen. I mean, I kind of feel like I got so caught up in the excitement of just going to this country that I pretty much entirely overlooked the whole what am I gonna do in Nepal part. For now, all I know is that Mo's showing up in about an hour and we're gonna go to a motorcycle rental shop and get me a bike. I just saw my first mountains right there. There it is. My first sight of the Himalayan mountains. Holy shit. A glimpse of the Annapurna Range. While I wait for Mo, the razor-sharp peaks of the Himalayas disappear behind a smoke and haze-filled sky.
Hello, bro. Hello.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, we're in Nepal, dude. We're in Nepal. Welcome.
This is where we were meant to go. What's your name again?
Robin.
This is Robin.
Yeah.
That's his motorcycle. I did not rent this from you. There's no evidence.
Yeah.
We're just, this is the friends.
Yeah, friends like a home, you know.
Yeah. With 200 cc's and 17.8 horsepower between my legs, I'm now loose in Nepal. We're headed to a small village in the mid-hills called Surkot, where Mo's got some friends who are up there paragliding. But no rush. We'll stop for tea along the way. Mo, what is this?
I don't know.
The guy behind us ordered it, and then we wanted it, so we ordered it.
Looks good.
It looks real good. Riding a motorcycle in Nepal is a lot like trail riding. Most of the roads are dirt, except there's trucks. Sometimes they're paved, but even that is full of loose gravel, random potholes, and oily pavement. Surkot is a remote mountain village, about 1,600 meters above sea level. My pants are covered in a fine dust, or as the locals call it, Nepali powder. Goals for tonight? Perfect, we have this room.
Perfect.
Okay, Mo, we have a room.
Done deal.
Sick. Get a place to sleep, and take in the scenery on top of this mountain.
We're in Nepal. Finally made it all the way here.
After some tea, we took a walk up to the launch site where Mo had flown the day before. These staircases made of stone from the surrounding landscape lead us most of the way there. There's no telling how old they are. The Himalayas are hidden now with clouds and thick smoke, but this is still one of the highest points in the mid-hills. We're seeing the launch site for the first time. I feel a little embarrassed about how winded I am. I've spent the entire winter at sea level, but now I've got an unobstructed view of the foothills. I'm humbled by the culture here already. At first glance, Rainscott feels far out here, deep in this unforgiving terrain. But as I look around the valley, I'm stunned. We're not alone at all. Despite the challenging landscape, farms and villages are sprawled all out in front of me, working land that in America would be deemed uninhabitable.
What is your name?
Yeah, that's good.
Judson.
And you?
Mo.
More.
What is your name?
Bandana.
My name is Basan Sagiri.
Nice. It's a good name.
Thank you. My hotel served us a traditional dinner called dalbat. It consists of some lentil soup, seasoned meat, some vegetables, and rice. It's a staple dish throughout the mountains. Second hotel room in Nepal. Bye.
Yeah.
You can hear bees. This place is alive. I'm in Nepal, and it's gorgeous. I slept terribly, my mattress was thin, and I was cold. After packing all my belongings and saying goodbye to the kid from the hotel, I rode my motorcycle about 1 kilometer down the mountain to meet Mo. He had met up with some friends from the United States who were putting on a guided tour of paragliding through Nepal. I feel out of place here. I know nothing about cross-country paragliding. Everyone is talking in terms that I don't know. If somebody asked me right now why I went to Nepal, I don't think I would have an answer for them. I guess I might just tell them that it felt like the right thing to do in the moment. Did I go to Nepal to figure out why I went to Nepal? I think you're thinking too much. 9:46 a.m. on March 15th, 2024, somewhere on a mountain in Nepal, Judson Grove.
Feeling great. I got lift on the mind. We're gonna go all the way.
Yeah, so where are you gonna go?
Wherever the day allows. Fly the day, not your plans. See, I'm learning.
I'll fly soon, but not today. Somebody's got to bring these motorcycles down the mountain. I'm left feeling a little nervous watching the group fly. I mean, fundamentally I know what's going on, but the whole cross-country aspect, going up in the middle of the day when it's thermic and turbulent, has me nervous. I have no idea what to expect. I followed one of the local pilots who was riding Mo's motorcycle to the landing zone. It was not much more than a field that they had permission to land in, but a landing zone nonetheless. Bringing up the rear on the way down, I got a proper dust bath.
It's magical. Like, it's so beautiful. And I haven't even seen the real Himalayas, but there's color and art and hospitality everywhere.
It's a welcome sight to see the pilots descend from the smoky sky. Mo hit some sink on landing, and it was a little rougher than he expected. Yvonne, one of the guides from France, made his landing look easy.
I saw a leaf and I just buried my wingtip to it and started just and it took me up enough to get to a bigger one, which is really cool.
I'm really loving the birds.
And a bird saved me over here.
The locals come out and try to sell snacks to the paragliders when they land, but all the pilots were eager to get out of the heat and back to their van on the other side of this suspension bridge, for foot traffic only.
India's #1 chocolate pie.
Not really tied to the tour, Mo and I are kind of like lone wolves. After a sweets break in this field, the plan is to ride the motorcycles back to Pokhara and spend the night.
Yeah, roll tide. I think we have to go that way.
Say roll tide.
I think we have to go that way to get around the bridge. Around the river.
Following Google Maps back to Pokhara, the only bridge in the area was closed. I guess they were paving. No barricades here, just sticks, still closed. So with the general idea of we need to go that way, we began following rural farming trails. This is exactly why we rented these motorcycles. Finally, some directions. The detour ended up being a short water crossing of a tributary to the main river. Water sizzles on the little dirt bike's header as I hold my feet up trying to keep my only pair of shoes dry. And soon, we're back to pavement. Riding motorcycles is one of those flow state activities that leaves you alone with your thoughts. Maybe travel is special because it's kind of like the big game. It feels like all of the motorcycle riding I've done in my life was just training for having this opportunity to ride through Nepal, learning how to pick my feet up through a river with my brother when I was 14. I feel strong as a person. Our plan now is to make it back to Pokhara before sunset. We'll get some food and some sleep, and then in the morning head to Rainscott, where I'll have my opportunity to fly in Nepal.
Well, we're on bikes. There's cows in the road. Wow, how pretty is it?
Very beautiful.
The banana lassi.
It's like banana and yogurt and some other stuff.
It's like a smoothie.
Kinda. Yogurt smoothie. Yeah.
Usually that's in a...
We began our 100-kilometer journey to Rainscott at 6:47 a.m. and were greeted with a lovely orange sunrise as we made our way outside of the town of Pokhara. We're going to meet the group of pilots at a hotel, and then we'll get in rented jeeps and ride up to the launch site.
Apparently, I'm gonna ride this truck up to the launch.
The atmosphere is rush. We're in a race against the sun, but no trip up the mountain is wasted. We load up water for the village up top.
Jump.
What's your name?
By the way, nice to meet you.
Nice. Heard about you.
Nice to meet you. Judson. This truck's solid axle and firm suspension make it a rough ride. Admittedly, it was pretty uncomfortable, but it sounded like there would be a seat in an enclosed vehicle for us once we met the rest of the group at the landing site.
Apparently, we're not supposed to sit in the back of the truck.
Nothing happened.
We won't tell anyone. Yeah, we're walking around a police checkpoint right now.
It turns out there was no actual police checkpoint, but I guess better safe than sorry. It's a good idea to set eyes on where you're supposed to land before you land there, so the guides gave us a little bit of a site overview. Main hazards are boulders, a river, and water buffalo.
Having fun?
Oh yeah.
The ride the rest of the way up the mountain was bumpy, dusty, and I felt grateful to be inside of a vehicle. After about an hour in the cramped and stuffy truck, we made it to the top.
Thank you.
Where, at the lodge, we were greeted with incredible hospitality. Tea for everyone. Food is hoisted from the kitchen below in these insulated containers. A lot of pilots were talking about the importance of being well fed before the flights, which was leading to a little bit of concern for me. I have never flown cross-country, and it sounded like I was in for some intense flying.
What do you think?
Clean plate.
Oh,
Better than chicken.
Mo, how's the breakfast service here?
10 out of 10.
I'm really impressed.
Best breakfast in Nepal.
Well, that's a bold claim, but they did give us fried chicken.
My heart is beating out of my chest on launch, which is something that rarely happens to me. I'm scared, but we're going.
We're gliding! I'm flying in Nepal! We're not doing it! There goes Mo. There's a thermal right up ahead.
Cross-country paragliding is something like the art of the birds. I've launched off the top of this mountain and am now in search of rising columns of hot air called thermals, which I'll circle in the center of and climb. As it turns out, that's the easy part. The challenge is covering ground in between these thermals, the cross-country aspect. Admittedly, I've been pretty nervous to try this because I'm scared of turbulence. It's like this unknown invisible thing that'll get you. So taking off on this flight was like jumping into the unknown. Smoke from small fires throughout the valley has completely obscured the Himalayas, and as I climb higher, puts a haze between even me and the ground. I watch, battling my nerves, as other pilots get into thermals. It's like a communal merry-go-round of lift. I'm in a strong thermal getting pushed into the sky at 3.5 meters per second in a synchronized spiral with Dylan. And I'm reminded of a quote hanging on the wall in my bus at home. It says, "The experience of being in a dangerous environment is very special. I have to remind myself constantly to relax my body as it instinctually tenses up, and I'm questioning my decisions to be here in the first place. Maybe I should just go land." But then for a brief moment, I'm the highest pilot in the group. No, wait, maybe all of Nepal. I reach the top of the thermal and I'm just in smooth air. It's not that big of a deal, but in that moment, I was able to accept my fear of turbulence. Not eradicate it or make it go away, but allowing myself to accept something uncomfortable, because on the other side of that, I get to experience one of the most unique perspectives of my entire life. Of course, that didn't happen without the help of some wonderful friends along the way, like Dylan, who organized this tour, who told me to just say out loud when I'm nervous. It also helped to learn a lot about where the turbulence was coming from. These thermic bumps weren't dangerous mountain rotor that was pushing you into a canyon that had caused this fear in the first place, but in a way they were kind of your friend, the stuff that would lead you to get altitude. After 2 hours and 36 minutes of flying powered by the sun, I decided it was time to land. My brain felt tired, but I found comfort in these wingovers. They felt familiar. Farmers were really curious about our equipment. I got the idea that they had seen paragliders flying a lot, but never been up close to one. They didn't speak any English, but it was clear they were curious how we controlled the glider in the air. Mo enjoyed showing them how the risers work in the air, but that's a little too much break there, bud. I think they got the idea, though. Okay, so I've done it. I've traveled to the other side of the world and flown a paraglider. But now that chapter is over, and even though I said I came to Nepal to see Nepal, now that my one familiar thing is gone and done with, I feel lost. It's kind of like I've been afraid to face myself without the identity I've created as a flyer. So being about halfway through my trip, I set this goal to myself to just try to find and explore who Judson is, without retreating to the comfort I find in my identity as a flyer. At the end of the main street, I find some kids playing tag. They were curious about my camera, so I introduced myself.
Pratik.
Butel.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Where are you from?
America.
America. This is a very nice country, yes?
Yes, it's beautiful. Everything about it. I love it
Yes.
here. You guys love art. Like everything's so
Yes.
beautiful. You
Yes.
paint things. You want to show me around the town just a little bit? Let's go.
I'm just playing running game.
Okay, running game? Okay.
Yes.
I'll follow somebody.
It seemed important to them that I join their little handshake before the game. You can't just touch, you gotta hold a finger,
Okay, what do
I
I do?
guess.
Run.
Oh, yeah, I'm running. Beautiful. I'm sad I can't see the mountains.
Can't see mountains in America?
I can, but they're not as big. They're twice as big here. 3 times as big. The biggest mountains in the world.
There is a big house in America, yes?
I live in a school bus.
Yes. You just live in a bus?
Yeah.
Come. Slowly. Come. Very beautiful seeing this there.
I'm curious why all of a sudden everyone's yelling, but then I realize that it's just a overflow of joy for the ability to run. Without realizing it, these kids are giving me a little masterclass on the art of gratitude.
We take the photo in. Come. There. Over there. Beautiful. White. He's dark.
In my eyes, it seemed like the greatest part of their evening was the opportunity to see a white flock of birds, or that the berry bush in their neighbor's yard was fruiting.
I can play it tomorrow, okay?
Is it okay?
Yeah. Eat. This type of fish is very cool. Can you eat? Why? Mama charger. La. Uday na wa swimming pool. Yeah. Diamond live in order.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for the berries. They were good.
Our group of pilots met up one more time to celebrate Jamie, one of the guides' birthday, on top of the mountain. Low clouds left the valley floor invisible. There would be no more flying.
I won't blow the candles out, I don't want to spread. With the best group ever.
I spent some time under the low clouds packing my paraglider for travel, a little more tightly. And then back on the motorcycles, back to Pokhara, hoping we avoid the rain. I have to remind myself constantly that this is just the status quo here, even though it feels so foreign to me.
I got a hole in my pants, so they're gonna stitch them up.
What town are we in?
Beautiful fabric. I don't know what town we're in. Thank you. Just like that, dude.
That took 2 minutes.
No more indecent exposure.
Rain was coming and Pokhara was clouded in. My body was exhausted from the long ride. But the next day was Holi, a celebration of the coming of spring, of colors, love, and the renewal brought on by the changing of the seasons, and of course celebrated with powdered paint. Even with this celebration to look forward to tomorrow, with the storms coming, I was feeling anxious because I still hadn't really had a good glimpse of the Himalayas, which were supposed to be right there. In the evening, it was rain. I got some good sleep though. I wasn't sure what to expect with Holi, but I knew I'd be walking a lot. After acquiring our own paint, it was time to party.
1, 2, 3! I'm fucking Felix. I'm Austrian.
Oh, dude, I thought this was just gonna be a little block party. This is crazy. Wait, let's slow it down. Despite the clouds and forecasted rain, the streets of Pokhara were positively alive, and I was wished a happy Holi by basically everyone I passed on the street. The inclusive and welcoming nature of Nepal was on full display. The powdered paint covering people's faces and clothes breaks down the social hierarchy of fashion or looks. In the evening, we're all left with our own unique tapestry, outwardly reflecting the experiences we shared with others along the way. I'm 15,000 kilometers from home. Yet, in this muddy crowd covered in paint, getting sprayed with water guns, I feel appreciated by others. Strangers that I don't know. I feel comfortable being me as me. Maybe this is why I came to Nepal. Our last day in Pokhara, the day after Holi, we decided to wake up before sunrise. A strong rain through the night had washed the powdered paints out of the street and cleared the smoke out of the air. It felt like the earth had taken the celebration of Holi quite literally. So we took one last motorcycle ride up to the lookout point in Pokhara with the hope that maybe the rain had cleared the smoke and clouds just enough to see the Himalayas. But when we got there, it was clouds again. Mo had climbed the lookout tower alone. It felt like we both wanted some time to reflect by ourselves on our experience in Nepal. Above being awestruck by a new and foreign landscape and culture, trying new foods or putting a new stamp in my passport, this trip had stripped me of basically everything I hold near and dear to my heart that brings me comfort. A town or personal possessions, followers, hobbies. For most of my time in Nepal, I was just a kid with a backpack and a motorcycle. Detached from so many of the physical things that I normally draw an identity from, I was left with, well, just Judson. Me as I am. It's not often we meet ourselves like this. So, whoever you are without the successful company, the car, the house, whatever it is, that is the person you'll meet when you travel. Especially when you travel light and with little plan. And in Nepal, I think I finally made peace with that person. Because I've realized that when you're best friends with them, the rest of it is just a bonus. I've opened my eyes now. And it's almost as if my silly little wish was heard by the universe.